Good morning everybody, and welcome to Lakeside. And so today I shall be replacing the motors in both the Black 5 and the Holland Afrika Merchant Navy class. Now if you remember, I took the motor out from Holland Afrika and put it into the Black 5 just to see if it worked. And it did, but the motor really from the Holland Afrika was not great. It ran, but it was not great. So I knew I had to at some stage replace this motor, but I could put it in here because I knew it ran, which was all I was after at the time. So what I did, I ordered a new motor from Hornby to replace this one, and what I should have done at the same time was order two, so that I could put two new ones in here. Anyway, I checked on the website and they had them in stock, so I ordered it from Hornby. They dispatched it the following day, and DPD was their chosen courier. I'll swing for that company one day, I really will. Not Hornby, DPD. So anyway, I was checking it on the DPD website, and it said that they got the parcel, and then I got a notification to say that they had refused it. So I spoke to them on chat on their website, and they said that it weighed less than what the Hornby packaging stated. I said, okay, but why should you refuse it because of that? And their report was, well, there was nothing inside it. I said, well, how do you know there's nothing inside it? You shouldn't have opened it, so why should you know that there's nothing inside it? Anyway, cut a long story short, I demanded that the box should be delivered to me so that I could inspect the box and see if there was anything inside. After a lot of kerfuffle, a couple of days later, the said box turned up. There was a knock at the door, I opened it, and the courier driver was standing well away, and he had put the box on the doorstep. I looked down and this is what I was presented with. So needless to say, I was none too pleased, and I said, okay, I said, so you pick up directly from Hornby, don't you? And he said yes. I said, so there's only two people involved, that's Hornby and DPD. Yes, he said. I said, so this box has been opened by DPD then. And I said, if there was anything inside it, which there should have been, then it's been taken. Yeah, I suppose it has, he said. I said, okay, I will get back in touch with Hornby. I will take photographs of the... Oh, there's no need to take photographs. He says, we've already sent photographs to Hornby. I said, no, it's okay, I will send my own photographs. So I actually phoned up Hornby at this point and spoke to them, and they couldn't have been more helpful, to be honest with you. They were absolutely fabulous. They said not to worry, they will send another out free of charge, and they will be in touch with DPD about it. While I was on the phone to them, I said, well, in that case, I said, can I be cheeky and order another motor, the same sort, which she did, and so now I have two motors which arrived this morning. Ta-da! And the boxes were fine. Nothing wrong with them at all. So I don't know what happened there. I guess the only thing I can think of is that somebody took a fancy to what was inside the box, nicked it, and is now no doubt on eBay. I can't see any reason why that box should be opened. It's not up to DPD to open a box and find out if there's contents in it or not. They've got one job to do, That's to receive a parcel and deliver it, and not to try and inspect it and see if there's anything inside it. That's not their job. Anyway, that's the end of that story. So today I will be putting the two motors in these two locos, and I will start off with probably this one actually. I've disconnected the tender already, so all I've got to do is release a chassis and put the new motor in, and likewise with the Black 5. But to show you what I mean by the motor not being great, if you watch the driving wheels, let's just zoom in a bit. The bloody thing's not even going. That's a good start, isn't it? Okay, bear with me, let's just make sure I've got a connection. Yep. Bear with, bear with. No, that's having none of it now. That was going this morning, albeit pretty roughly. But no worries, you can see what I mean. It's not great, is it? I'm sure that will go in a minute. Persevere, but I'm not going to persevere with it anymore. I'm just going to take the motor out. So, let's crack on. Hello again. Right, the new motor is really nicely done. It came with a new wiring loom already attached, including the 4-pin plug which goes into the tender. So that makes installing very easy. What I'm doing though is that I have unsoldered that loom, because for me on this particular occasion it will be just as quick for me to just resolder the two wires which I've already got. So I've unsoldered the loom, so I just need to solder these onto the motor. One, two. I think that is a lot easier than trying to reinstall a new loom, but good idea from Hornby to do that. What I would do is pop a little piece of insulation tape, if I can find my scalpel, just underneath the terminal which faces down towards the chassis, just so that there's no chance of it shorting against the chassis. That's really all that's for. Don't have to do it, but it's just a little safeguard. So I can now pop that on. On this particular model, there's a little tiny piece of black tack just there, which is for supporting the motor into the engine, into the chassis, sorry, into the chassis. Just press that firmly. And what I have done, I've also lubricated the front bearing here as well before installing it, and I put a tiny piece, a very tiny piece of oil on this back bearing too, and you really have to have just the touch of a piece of oil on there, because what you don't want is oil going into this part of the motor where the brushes are. If oil gets in there, you might as well just throw the motor away. So just be warned, if you do oil the bearings, you don't have to, but I prefer to oil them. This end is not so critical, but again, you still just need a small amount of oil. But this end, just the tiniest touches of oil if you do put it on there. So replace the cover on here. Like so, and we're good to go. So all I've got to do now is to connect the tender back up. I don't have to put the drawbar on for this. Just so that I can test the motor before putting it all back. It hasn't gone bang, so that's a good sign. So let's get the iPad. Let's see what happens. Hey, I think I need to clean the driving wheels on this because they're filthy. In fact, I might even take this apart like the Black 5 and give it an overhaul, but I won't do that on camera. But yeah, that's good, that's working. Yeah, those wheels are pretty grubby, so I should clean those. Well, considering that's straight out the box, that ain't so bad. I don't think there's any pickups on that tender actually, to be honest. So it's just relying on this. Okay, good. Right, I will clean the wheels on that off camera and put the shell back afterwards. And now it's the turn of the Black 5. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so see you in a minute. I'll just prepare that first. Need the front cover, which is here. And there's a right and a wrong way of putting these on. If you can see these two spongy bits here, they face towards the motor. The other side are plain. So that needs to go on. And that's in position. Then I can put the cover plate back on. Put the tape back on. tender and hook that up. I just want to try this without putting the shell on. No puff of blue smoke yet. Just a good sign. Right, so now if I get my iPad, and see if it works. Okay. Perfect. Right, so let's pop that back over there. So I'm happy with that. I will now put the shells back on both the Black 5 and the Merchant Navy class, Holland Afrika, and I'll come back. I'll clean the wheels to the Holland Afrika because they're filthy. Once all the shells are back in position, I'll pop them on a rolling road, and hopefully that should be it. Okay, so I'll speak to you in a minute. Hello again. Right, final part of the video. So both the Black 5 and the Holland Afrika are now back together again with their new motors. So I've cleaned the wheels on this now, and that seems to have rectified the problem of the stuttering. So see how slow this goes. I've had this running for about 20 minutes, I guess. Needs to be running a bit more than that, but that's okay. That's nice and slow. And it accelerates smoothly. Up to full speed. Nothing wrong with that. Beautiful. Very pleased. So it's been worth the wait for that alone. Okay, so that's the Holland Afrika. So let's check the Black 5. Have to adjust the rolling road, bear with me. there were no pickups on that tender for the Holland Afrika, which surprises me, but there you go. Right, rack 5. This one hasn't been run in yet. I think I need to have a look at the decoder on this because it's going up in stages rather than a gradual acceleration like that, and it judders. So I think I need to look at the decoder on this one, see what the settings are. But the motor goes, that's the main thing. I think it's if I remember rightly, there's a cheap Hattons decoder in that, which I think is made by Gauge Master, I'm not sure. But it could purely just be down to settings. I remember having problems with this before with that. So I will either look at the settings for this or just swap the decoder out, and that should solve the problem. But the motor goes. Good. Okay, so I'm happy with that, apart from the decoder, but I'm happy with the actual running. So that's me done. Hope you enjoyed that, and as I say, the swapping out of a motor is very, very simple. It's just a case of unsoldering 2 wires and popping a new motor in and soldering it back up again. So, job done. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm off to do some jet washing now, so as it's so lovely out there. So I'll speak to you later. Okay, so bye for now. Bye bye. Well, I've just had a play with the CV settings before packing this all away, and I've adjusted CV2 because that was way too high, which is the start off. So in other words, as soon as you start hitting the controller for speed, if it goes off in a lurch, then those settings are too high. You can't really manage a slow speed on it. So it was on something like 60 something, which is far too high. So I gradually brought it down, and the CV setting on this particular loco now for CV2 is now 4. So I'll show you what I mean, and I couldn't do this before. So it's really slow, and there's no juddering on that at all. It's very smooth. So that is much better, and it's a smoother control as well when I bring it up. And down. Much more controllable. So on CV6, which is the halfway point, CV5 is the max, so CV6 I've made half the value of CV5. So it tends to give you a smooth curve rather than what it was on before. It was virtually either on or off. So the acceleration is gradual as it goes through the speed curve. Down to a crawl. Perfect. Okay, that's it. So that's that sorted as well. Once again, thank you for watching and stay safe. Bye for now. Bye.